Alright, hello guys, and welcome to a brand new sort of one-off video from Causeral FC 96. This is just a different sort of informative video. Obviously been doing a lot of F1 2015 games. This is just a informative video about F1 2016, you know, the game that all F1 fans are looking forward to. So these are the new features and all the bits which everyone's looking forward to. Just my sort of opinion about them. So hope you enjoy. Okay, so the first and sort of main feature that was announced by Codemasters over the past sort of couple of weeks is, of course, career mode. Now, this is something we didn't see in F1 2015, which was a little bit annoying for people like me because I wasn't able to sort of, you know, play the game, you know, as me. I had to sort of be one person and then keep changing. And obviously, I do, you know, some videos on camera, but off camera, I do a lot of like 50%, 100% races with a lot of practice, a lot of qualifying. And it didn't seem rewarding in any way. It was very unrewarding as a game to play long term. So to have career mode back, it's awesome. Now inside this career mode, Codemasters haven't just brought back career mode. They've added lots of features to it, which is a trend that they've had for this F1 2016 game, which is awesome. I've got a really squeaky chair. Which is awesome because throughout this you'll see that they've sort of brought back things that they had before and then have enhanced them, which is really good. So the first feature of this career mode is they've got 10 seasons now. Whether that's too much remains to be seen, but we'll soon find out. But you know, having 10 seasons will mean that you'll probably never run out of seasons. You'll probably just keep going until sort of season 7 or 8, and if you reach season 10, then well, that's awesome. Especially when you consider the next thing, which is that R&D is back. Now this is again something that wasn't seen in F1 2015, but you know, R&D in F1 2013, 2014, you know, games before that as well was quite, you know, it was quite fun to do, but it was just something that you sort of had there, and there wasn't really much to it. Especially as that, you know, at the end of the season, all the cars were reset to the same again anyway. But this R&D carries on throughout all of the seasons. So through all 10 seasons, the R&D that you do does go towards the car for this season, for the season that you're currently on, and then the season after. So if you stay with a team, then that car will progress with you. Whereas if you move teams, then you've got to go with the R&D that they've had, which is interesting. So if you do a lot of moving teams, then it'd be sort of different to see how their R&D is done and things like that. But the way this works is that you end up with sort of bars, like a progress bar, and you'll see the teams at the start. Obviously, there'll be Mercedes with the longest bar, and then Manor with the shortest bar, and you'll see that sort of, you know, that difference between the cars. And then as you go through the seasons, you'll see those bars get longer, especially for teams like Manor and McLaren and Sauber, because they've got a lot more growing to do, whereas Mercedes have got a very small R&D package to be able to produce. So you'll see that Manor's sort of catch up fairly quickly, and then the Mercedes sort of grind to a very slow halt, especially towards season 10. Someone from Codemasters has said that you can actually have all of the cars, of the R&D of the cars, the same. So they'll end up with a completely, completely same, cars on the grid, and then it's all up to the drivers, and you'll see, you know, how good the drivers are and things like that. Whether sort of Lewis Hamilton will be on top, or whether you'll see, you know, one of the Sauber or Manor drivers sort of getting to the front. Maybe even sort of Jensen and Alonso being, you know, on pole quite a lot again. Obviously, them being world champions of the past and things like that. So R&D is a lot more rewarding, especially in the long run. If you stick with a team for 10 seasons, then you end up with an amazing car at the end of it. And that sort of, you know, that trend carries on, which is awesome. The other feature of career mode, there is another one, but it's sort of unrelated. Next feature of career mode is customization throughout. Yes, you can be yourself, and that was always something that was throughout. You just had your name, and that was sort of it, and a random sort of, you know, commentary thing. Whereas now you can create your own driver, so you can create your own helmet. You choose from a sort of set of custom helmets like before, but you change all of the colours and everything to create your own. You can have your own avatar, so you create sort of your own face. So sort of things like FIFA and things like that, as you create your own sort of almost game face, which you can then carry sort of through the seasons, which is amazing, especially as you've got that podium ceremony and things like that. And you can have your own number. Now the problem with me is that my sort of lucky number, which I've always had and that I would have, number 12, I think Felipe Nasr's got it. I know it's similar for a couple of other YouTubers that want, you know, certain numbers, and they can't because drivers have got them. So I might sort of go for number like 55 or something, which is another number that's sort of related to me in sort of, you know, weird and various ways. But that's the sort of customization part, which is awesome to see. And career mode is going to be incredible and in depth this season, and it's going to be an incredible. Sorry about that. It's going to be an incredible journey to go through. So, you know, whether I'll be able to get that on camera or give you sort of snippets, you know, from off camera bits on camera it's something that I'm still yet to see, yet to sort of find out. I got to have the right software, which currently I don't, so we'll see if I get that. So yeah, career mode is going to be absolutely awesome. Another sort of feature of the game, which was the one that I mentioned that was linked to career mode, is the new hospitality area. Now, this hasn't been confirmed whether it's part of career mode or part of the general game, sort of, because I know that F1 2013, I believe, had this sort of whole hospitality area that you could, you know, you spend all of your time in, all of the game in, and then career mode was just a case of going to the correct sort of caravan that these teams come with. But this hospitality area is, you know, apparently where all the hub is supposed to be, especially for the career mode, and, you know, the team that you're with is going to be, you know, a huge part of this hub, because inside this you'll have your technician, you know, your sort of director that works with you and that sort of thing, and you'll have the, you know, you'll have the boss of the team, and these faces are shown in the game. The familiar face will be walking around. So if you're in Mercedes, then you'll see people like Toto Wolff and Paddy Lowe walking through, and if you're with Williams, then you'll see I think it's Dame. No, it's not. No, it's Claire Williams got an OBE, but yeah, you'll see her walking through, and if you're with McLaren, then you'll see Ron Dennis walking through, and you'll see all of these, you know, incredibly intelligent people walking through, and you'll be able to interact with them. You know, you're a driver for their team, so you'll be able to interact with them, have conversations, and you'll sit down with them for meetings and things like that. So you'll be able to interact with these, you know, these people that you see on telly. They'll be in the game, so it's a little bit like FIFA, in the sense that if FIFA, you were able to interact with, you know, the managers and the people high up, whether that be a case of FIFA 17, I don't know, as managers are in it. But, you know, you're able to interact with these people that sort of influence your career and influence the car you're driving and how you're driving it and that sort of thing. So that is amazing to have that sort of hospitality area where it makes you feel like you are completely immersed in this career mode. And, you know, again, career mode is going to be absolutely amazing this season. Just, you know, for bits like that, for little bits of detail that, you know, they had a sort of hospitality area before, but they haven't just, you know, created this hospitality area. They've created this whole immersive experience and environment for you to be in when you're in career mode. So, you know, that's awesome and great to see. So it's just another feature that's going to make this F1 2016 game incredible, especially when you compare it to F1 2015, which is a very bare bones game. So yeah, that's going to be incredible to have this brand new game, which is going to have so much stuff in it. The next main feature sort of behind career mode, you know, to sort of follow career mode, is obviously the introduction of the safety car. Now this again wasn't in F1 2015 and sort of ruined a little bit the racing, especially on the races that I do, which are 50%, 100%, you know, sort of off-camera races. And, you know, if there's a crash, not only does it sort of hold up the whole field sometimes, you know, because in F1 2015 they seem to sort of follow injured cars, which is a little bit weird, and stay behind them. But you don't get a safety car at all, and the field just gets so spread out, and it sometimes become, you know, quite monotonous just to get to the end of the Grand Prix, because you know that you're going to finish in that position. You know you're not going to gain any positions or, you know, lose any, so it's sort of a bit of a grind. However, there was stuff like safety car, you know, add that unpredictability. F1 2015 made a much better game, and this, you know, adds to the career mode and everything. That having this new safety car feature is going to be amazing, because you'll add that, you know, difference, you know, you'll add that unpredictability in things in the game. You know, however long the race is you'll end up with that unpredictability, whether it's 5 laps, probably won't actually improve that much, but, you know, 25% races where it really starts to make a difference, and, you know, 50% and 100% races definitely make a huge difference to someone's race if they make the right tactical call, especially if, you know, you're in, you know, wet conditions. You know, the rain stopping, and you know, the safety car comes out. Is, you know, do you go on to intermediates, do you stick on the wets, do you go on to the dries even? making the right strategy call then, along with the safety car's unpredictability, is going to be, incredible. And also with the safety car is a virtual safety car. The virtual safety car obviously is something that was new in F1. It was new in 2015. It was sort of trialed in F1 2015 when it came out as a game. It was still being trialed, and then was definitely done. I think after Jules Bianchi's sort of death, it was definitely introduced as part of part of the rules in F1 2015. It's been a huge success actually, which is great to see. But having this virtual safety car in the game is going to be amazing as well, because then you'll end up having to sort of think about what you're doing, because with safety, the safety car as well is you're able to drive under the safety car and the virtual safety car how you would if you were driving an F1 car. In previous Codemasters games, you sort of kept like a car and a half's worth gap almost, which was huge. And then when you could only really do anything when you got to the safety car line, the AI cars didn't go, and before that they didn't really sort of make any ground or anything. Nothing really happened until that line. It was really boring. So safety car disappeared, obviously, for that reason, to back the field up, and then the lead car becomes a safety car and things like that. But now, the lead car becomes safety car, and they go, whenever, when's best, and you're able to get up really close, and then you're able to, as soon as that car goes, you're able to go for it. And that's gonna be, that's gonna be amazing. You can make up, a few spots almost just after the safety car, and you're able to really attack someone. Whereas in the previous games, you just weren't. You sort of left the safety car, and that was it. So you're able to sort of do that, and that is going to make racing just, unbelievably more action-packed, and, it's just going to add to the racing and the thrill of it, and being able to, drive like a proper F1 driver and feel really immersed in the experience, along with career mode and everything like that, and all the other features I'm going to talk to you about. It's going to, it's going to be an incredible sort of new feature, with the safety car obviously coming back and being able to attack, and then the virtual safety cars to slow the field down. It also to sort of back the field up, and it does actually make you think, because you still got to drive to the delta. The car doesn't sort of slow you down. You've got to drive to that delta if you get penalties and things like that. So that's going to be awesome. It's going to be a great new feature to the game. Just to go sort of off topic about the features of this game, just sort of very briefly, I was talking about the whole immersive experience of career mode. Is talking about the bare bones of the game. Because 2015 was very bare bones, they basically created a game which was fun and amazing to drive in, but there wasn't much else. And because of that, they've been able to create F1 2016 around the handling model of F1 2015. So they haven't changed the handling model much. They've just made it, a little bit, more sort of, more lockups and more realistic in comparison to, how the cars behave under braking and under steering and things like that. And I think the only bit of the handling model they've changed is the wet weather experience. In the, in before, wet weather, you could stay on the dry tyres for a fair amount of time and then go onto the inters, and you could change off of the inters pretty early. Whereas now you're going to have to, as soon as it starts raining, as soon as you see any sort of rain on the floor, you're going to have to start sort of, changing to inters, and then only when it's completely dry you'll be able to change back to the soft tyres. When it gets really wet, apparently it gets unbelievably wet. So that's going to be a really, really sort of difficult yet fun part of the game, is when it rains, is that it's going to become difficult. And the drivers in this, apparently when it gets sort of wet, is, they're not just going to drive around like normal and you're the only one that's going to make mistakes. They're going to make mistakes too, because it is difficult. So, making these mistakes is to be part of it, and, the whole immersive experience of this game and making it realistic, that's part of making this game as close to life as it can be for a game. So, that's, the whole wet weather experience is going to be very different. It's going to be a lot harder, but it's going to be a lot more rewarding as well when you get it right. Another one of the features that we definitely weren't expecting, but that is in the game. It was in a game, it was in Project Cars and things like that, but it wasn't ever really, it wasn't something that we expected on this. And it's a time, it's a time and day editor that's in, I think, time trial and quick race mode and online, I believe, as well. And this is something which we never thought of, but actually could be pretty cool, especially in night races and twilight races and things like that. Because you can change the the time that you're racing for any of the tracks. That can be midday when obviously the races are done. in the evening when it's starting to go down, so that would be your twilight sort of races, and then night, so that would be things like Singapore and Bahrain. But you can have any track you want in midday, evening or night. So tracks like Monaco you can do at night, but tracks like Singapore, where it's only ever been done in the night, you can now do in the day. So you'll be able to see bits of the track which you never saw before, and the detail in the track which you only ever see at night, which is going to be a really interesting driving experience. And I'm definitely going to do a video on that one, because it does sound awesome being able to drive Singapore in the day, Bahrain in the day again, and yet race, do tracks like Monaco and things at night. So being able to do that will be absolutely awesome. Monaco at night, as I'm sure you've seen in other videos that I've done, I hate Monaco, but I'm still going to do it because it sounds incredible to be able to do it at night. So time of day editor on all of the tracks, any time of the day, does sound like a feature we weren't expecting, a feature that wasn't needed, a feature that wasn't asked for, but a feature that could be fun to play on and fun to make videos in, special one-off videos and things like that. So that is going to be awesome. And the last part of this game is the sort of obvious new content that's going to be in it. So Baku is in the game, which is fairly obvious. E3 did a lot of gameplay in it. I think it was E3, or it might have just been Codemasters, did a lot of when releasing different parts of the game, showed a lot of the Baku track, because I think it was Jolyon Palmer in the Renault, which is also another part of this, and Daniel Ricciardo in the Red Bull did a flying time trial lap around Baku. I think it was Thursday before the race, so last Thursday, to show how how it looks generally as the track, and also to show how it looks in the game and how it feels in the game and things like that. And obviously the drivers gave their opinion and reaction to it, which obviously was positive, but it was just weird to see a track that we'd never seen before, and hadn't seen until days after it, in fact, sort of on our screens and on the game. Which I know some F1 drivers, I think Fernando Alonso said in 2006 with I think it might have been the Turkish Grand Prix, track that he'd never raced on before and no one else had ever raced on before, was that he said that he played on it on F1 2006 on the PlayStation and got to know how the track worked even before they even went there and got it in the wind tunnel and the virtual reality stuff, and he was able to sort of get an idea of it through that. So I think that might have given Daniel Ricciardo a little bit of an advantage in qualifying, as it turns out that it wasn't actually needed, and Jolyon Palmer didn't do so great in the race. But it was pretty amazing to see Baku in the game on our screens, and it didn't actually look that much different on our screens than it did in the actually on Sky Sports where I was watching it. It sort of looked fairly similar, which was pretty fun to see. And the new content of this game also includes that the new Haas F1 team. I don't know in career mode who'd actually have walking around, because I don't know any people in the Haas F1 team. And the Renault F1 team, again, I don't really know anyone in the new Renault team for career mode, but those two teams are on it, and they've obviously for the F1 2016 season they have to be, but all of their stuff has been all of the looks of the car and the feel of the car and everything has been put into the game as well as possible. I mean, they've had probably by the time it comes out almost half the season to be able to see where the car sort of is in comparison to other teams and what its weaknesses and strengths are as well. So that'll be those to be dead right. And Haas is actually doing really well. Points in their first race. I think they're beating Renault as well overall, and I don't know if they're beating McLaren. They might not be, because I know that Fernando Alonso's got a small haul of points. So that's pretty good. So yeah, anyway, this has sort of been my feature sort of video for F1 2016. It's going to be an amazing game, and that's why I did this video. If it wasn't going to be that great, I probably would have just left it out and just carried on with the content. I know that I got a new video coming out in, I think it's Saturday morning at 10, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe it is. So if you're watching this video, then stay tuned for that one. So I think it was an awesome race. if I remember rightly. I pre-record all this stuff and then edit it and then schedule it. So yeah, so thank you for listening, and if you like this video, then give it a huge like. If you like this, if you like that video and like some of the others, then make sure you subscribe, for more F1 2015 and 2016 in the future content.